Gewissen.
Noch immer 2 Euro.
That's the entrance to Taormina. Welcome.
Comme ça, avec lui, ils aiment pas non plus qu'on
Oui.
Quelle est l'invention?
Don't keep going, follow her. There's something wrong with your microphone. Either the connection, all we hear is static.
Yeah, same here. All I hear is.
I'm not talking. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's still static.
No, it just comes and goes. But it's these things. Every time you twist this and...
Yeah, I think it's
Can
in
you
the
hear me
cable.
now?
No.
No.
Oh, now we can.
now
Yeah, we can
Yeah, then we can hear you now.
it
Yeah.
lasts for about 2 minutes.
Oh, it's gone again.
It's okay now?
It's okay now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's gone again.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Oh.
Here, listen to this.
It's gone again.
Can you hear the static?
Let me see something. Is it this?
Just a moment, please. Just a moment, please.
No, it just went dead. Not in.
I got just one. Let's try.
Different channel?
No, it's the same. Can you hear me now?
Nope.
this is the right channel.
Yep, 15.
15. It's 15 now. Can't you hear me? No. And can you hear me now?
No.
No.
Now we lost you.
And now, we are in the first of the three squares of Taormina. That's the Cathedral Square, or Piazza Duomo, and it stands in front of the Fountain of Taormina. So that's the ancient-most church of Taormina, St. Nicholas Church, built during the Norman times. So you recognize the Norman battlements up there too. It underwent some modifications during the 13th century, and you see the Gothic arched style windows introduced in the 13th. But the church was dedicated to Saint Nicholas, the patron saint of Bari. Bari is a place in the South Italian region known as Puglia in the 16th century. In that period, the fountain of Taormina started to be built. So in fact it was built between the 16th and the 17th century, but it represents the Baroque style of Italy that developed in between centuries. The centauri is up there is a symbol of the powerful Taormina, and she has got a globe on her hand, and the cross symbolizes the Christianity. Well, it's important to remember that that's the only monumental fountain that you can find in Taormina. There are also other two squares without any fountain, and it does mean that on the way back to the parking lot of Taormina, you'll walk along the avenue, that's the Corso Umberto Avenue. As you find the fountain, it does mean that you are near the parking lot, okay? It's so important, remember. Thank you, follow me this way. So we are in front of the palace. It's a very important building today. That's the town hall of Taormina. But the palace was first built in the 18th century, and after the Second World War it was changed, and also on the main faces they decided to introduce the 3 stars of David, and they wanted to remember the presence of a Jewish community that developed here during the 15th century. And at the end of the century, they were expelled by the Inquisition. So after more than 5 centuries, they decided to remember the presence of a Jewish community that developed around here. And that's the reason why the main facade of the palace was changed. Today, the palace has a public function, and that's the place of the public administration of Taormina, or the town hall. Thank you. Sorry.
Eccoli, è arrivata la crociera, avanti, ora ci rompono il culo, voglio fare avanti.
Come sparla forte.
Shopping here is on point, eh?
Everything is so like it's souvenirs, but it looks like stores. Oh, look at the big hats.
Hello, prego, pistacchio. Hello, buonasera, prego. Hello, buonasera, prego, provate. Hello, buonasera, buonasera, prego. Hello, provate, prego.
Let's see cats here.
È una chiave di lavoro.
Stop at the second square, the 9th of every square.
Io, a certe ore poi tiro i Tava toda engelhada, ainda lá. Olha o hotel, olha ali.
Estava a pensar que se calhar
Well, you see the Greek Roman theater from here. That's on the highest side of Taormina, on the slopes of the mountain, Mount Tauro. At 203 meters above the sea level. But from here you can see a fantastic view on the Etna side again. Thank God it's possible to take photos. And also the Ionian side of Messina. And you see also Giardini Naxos, the last village in the Ionian side of Messina. That's the bay of Naxos, the second Greek colony founded by the Greeks in 734 BC. And it closes the Ionian side of Messina, and then the province of Catania starts. Any curiosities about Mount Etna? Well, I told you that there are 4 main craters on the top, but one of the most characteristic aspects of the volcano is the presence of other 200 secondary craters, and they can be found around the mountain, and 2 of them can be seen from here. There are 2 craters, they are near each other, less than 2,000 meters. They are known as Silvestri craters, and they were formed after an explosion, a very violent explosion happened in 1892. Silvestri was the Catanese volcanologist that discovered the activity of other craters, and that's the reason why they named after him Silvestri craters, less than 2,000 meters of altitude. From here you can see also one of the 5 luxury hotels in Taormina. That's the brown building with the bell tower. That's St. Dominic Palace Hotel, one of the 5 luxury hotels in Sicily. That's the one in Taormina. It was first a monastery of the 17th century that was closed at the end of the 19th and reopened with a new function. Today it's one of the 5 luxury hotels in Sicily. And now let's focus on what you can see in this square, because architecturally speaking you see the predominance of the late Italian Baroque style in the 2 churches. The Church of St. Joseph, to say the second main church in Taormina, and on the main facade you see the statue of Christ the Savior, and also the 2 skulls that are the symbols of the souls of the purgatory that were introduced by the friars in the 16th century, the Capuchin friars, that want to spread the cult of the dead around the Mediterranean area. A smaller church can be seen on the right. That's the main facade of the Church of Saint Augustine, but it has kept its original ancient look. But today that's the entrance to the communal library of Taormina, and so it changed a lot after the 17th century. By contrast, you see something medieval still, that's the clock tower on the left, and it was a part of an Arabic and Norman fortification built during the Middle Ages. The arch that you can see is known as the Middle Gate because Taormina opens with an arch known as Porta Catania, and it closes with another arch known as Porta Messina today. In between you see the main passage, the main avenue of Taormina. It's Corso Umberto or Umberto Avenue. It's usual to cross the whole town. Up there you see Castel Mola, the highest village in the Ionian side of Messina, the castle shown from the coach. It's a medieval fortification, and the cross is the symbol of the Virgin of the Rock, the sanctuary of the Virgin of the Rock, and near it the 17th century church of Saint George. Thank you. This way.
Wijn draaien. Wijn een sapje.
Get ready for a nice talk. You see the narrowest street in Taormina. People used to stop there for taking some photos. That's the narrowest street in the town. There are many alleys and narrow streets like all the medieval towns and places, but that's the narrowest one in Taormina. And people have to put in a line to reach the restaurant up there. Yeah, Vicolo Stretto stands for narrow street. Thank you.
in some Serie A, or are they? Are there any clubs in Italy and Sicily?
Of course
But
they
are
are.
any of them at the Serie A level, or are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are also everywhere in the country.
Un'altra volta, un'altra volta.
Well, this is the third and last square for today, okay? That's Vittorio Emanuele II square, and that's the last square of the center, the historical part of Taormina. And in fact, you are in front of a very important building for Via Palace. It, historically speaking, it became popular in 1410 because it was the place where the first Sicilian parliament was held. And but it was built during the Middle Ages by the Normans, so you recognize the elegant battlements of the Norman period out there. And as I explained on the bus first, during the Middle Ages, three cultures developed in Sicily: the Arabic, the Byzantine, and the Norman culture. And that's the reason why in many monuments of Messina, Palermo, and also surrounding territory, you see the traces of different cultures in a single monument. That's also the case of the Corvaia Palace. You see the four mullioned windows with inflected arches and two lights that represent the culture of the Arabic period and also the Byzantine details. The palace is closed at this moment, but it has been for a long time the tourist information office of Taormina. But it's possible for you during your free time to visit the 17th century church of St. Catherine of Alexandria. It's one of the churches built during the 17th century that represent the Baroque style. So before leaving this square, it's important to remember that we have visited the medieval township and also the Baroque township of Taormina. So those are the two main styles of the historical town. But from here it's possible to reach the Greek theater going a bit uphill, and also the public gardens crossing that way you go downhill, okay? During your free time it's possible to reach this square again and to visit the Villa Comunale or public gardens. The entrance is free. And now follow me, let's follow the other group, we go all to the same place. Thank you.
We're going to the theater?
Yeah. We stop at the entrance to the theater.
Your arm's gonna start getting tired soon.
Yeah. I used to. I used to every day.
It's tiny, but it's cute.
way. This way.
Yeah, that was up the hill, that way's back.
Okay, see you in a bit then.
Bring your English way a bit, see where
I'm not gonna have much free time at the space for.
on ma takie...
Almost looks like a destination shop. I don't know what that means. You see that later.
Stop here for a while. That's number 22, cross the road. Thank you. Those are all local products by ceramics produced in Sicily. Let number 21 cross, please. Well, among the local products you find ceramics produced both here in the province of Catania, and that's one of the most famous symbols of Sicily, Trinacria. It represents Medusa's head just because of the mythology and the presence of Sicily in the Greek mythology, and the three legs represents the three different sides of Sicily because of its triangular shape. So in very ancient times, Sicily was represented in a very fanciful way, and today it is still known as Trinacria. You find Trinacria of every size and also with different materials and of different prices, of course. You find the lava stone Trinacria, that's the cheapest one because lava stone, that's the dark color kind of stone that comes from Mount Etna, is a cheap stone, a cheap product from Sicily, and you find objects by lava stone also in that store. Thank you. This way. stretto. That's the place where the guys stopped cargo. There is a shade area because that's the entrance to the theater. Stop here, please. We found a place in the shade. That's a nice place to stop at. Look at there. No groups are up there. Take care, take care. Whose ticket is this? Whose ticket is this? If we want to understand what happened in the centuries, the theater that you can see today is a typical brickwork, and in fact it was first built by the Greeks and then it was rebuilt by the Romans. It happened in two different ages. The 3rd century BC by the Greeks and the 1st century BC by the Romans. Anyway, what you can see today is what remains of the Roman building. So you see the bricks and also the arches unknown to the Greeks, never introduced by the Greeks during the 3rd century BC. At first, it was a theater, a simple theater, meant for the representation of drama in comedies and tragedies. But the Greek theater was turned into an amphitheater, meant for the gladiators' fights. Think you this way. Yeah, after the explanation there'll be free time. So, you want to sit down there? For me, it's the same. There.
No, I
This is a smaller theater meant for 400 people that could sit down in the 9 sections of the cavea. Cavea is the highest and largest part of the theater, 110 meters long. But in doing so, the Romans had to sacrifice the orchestra, now 35 meters long, and the scene gradually reduced because of the introduction of those 2 big galleries that are on the 2 opposite sides of the area. First, the theater was higher but simpler in its style. And so the arches couldn't be seen in the Greek theater because it was a simpler architecture. And as the Romans introduced the arches, in the 1st century BC, they wanted to give a function to every niche because each niche was holding a marble statuette. Mostly they were dedicated to the most important gladiators of the time. But the 2 big arches that you can see, one there and another one where there is the other guys explaining, were introduced for the passage of the gladiators. In fact, the gladiators were well trained in the wings. The wings can be found still behind the brick wall in front of us. They were well trained there and was the main passage from the galleries. That's the reason why you see still the original amphitheater meant for the gladiators fights, and that's the reason why it looks smaller than the previous Greek theater. But a frequent question is the theater original or not? Well, I cannot tell you that this is an original theater because it's not a totally original theater. The highest part of it, for example, was rebuilt in 1950-1955. If during your free time you go up there, you find under the central arch Restauro 1955 to testify that that part of the theater was rebuilt after the Second World War. It's important to remember that Messina, both Messina and Taormina were hit by the bombs. Quite 28,000 bombs hit Messina in 1943. That's the reason why we remember that the British Spitfires flew upon the Taormina sky too. And that's the reason why the highest part of the theater needed to be almost completely rebuilt, because it's quite impossible to find the western side of the portico. That portico, double portico, was built for women and common people or plebs, because during the Roman period, the first period of the Roman occupation here, women weren't allowed to sit down in the 9 sections of the cavea, and that's the reason why the highest part of the theater was meant for them. But you see 2 kinds of bricks up there. The smaller bricks are the original bricks introduced first by the Romans, and the larger bricks were introduced later in the 50s when they reconstructed the building. And also the Romans were the owners of a particular mixture, and mixing travertine, tufa, earthenware, and pumice-stone, they made a stronger monument, and among the strongest monuments of the ancient times, and that's the reason why we can still see some original parts of the theater, such as the brick wall that covers the view of Mount Etna. The central part has been missed not because of the bombs in 1943, but because of an earthquake in the Middle Ages, and that's the reason why it was never rebuilt again. The theater is also known today for a very good sound. There is very good acoustics from here. You can hear perfectly what happens in the scenery, sometimes without the use of microphone from the highest seats of the caviar. And it's what they discovered underground in 1995. Some big ceramic pots of the Greek period were exposed in front of the caviar. So there was the amplification where the sound was spreading all over the highest part of it. And through the X-rays, they realized that they belonged to the Greek period. This way, thank you.
Last time was 3 years ago. The people who were sitting in the plastic chair, oh, by the way, the plastic chair on the floor are going to be reused and put back the next year.
The wings could be found there. Today that's the place where the actors or singers, the artists in general, prepare themselves for the shows. That's another original area where you see the original Greek stones, those some of the Greeks introduced in the first century BC. It's a small area, but that's one of the original area of the theater. The main arches, unfortunately, were reconstructed in 1957, 58 after the reconstruction of the highest part of the theater because they were gravely hit in 1943. It's the green building. What a stunning view from here. Mount Etna is still in front of us. But as you can see, the situation has changed, okay? Because of it's impossible to see the top, and we have explained it on the map just for this reason. It's possible not to see.
Let me take a picture of you here.
Can I take a picture of you?
Yes, no problem. Okay. Cannoli for you, sir? Hello. Yes, so many.
Oh wow.
You don't see because we make at the moment. Sure? Come here.
Johnny, ma non guarda sta cosa mensile.
Scusa.
A desiderio.
Come here.
Serviti, papà.
Two cannoli for my friends.